She always had a heart for giving back, as did Jack.
They're both very smart, intelligent people. They are both very strong-minded.
Very giving. It didn't matter who you were or where you came from. Grandma and Grandpa were always trying to help everybody out.
Ethel was sweet. She was soft-spoken, but she could be feisty.
Oh, Grandma, she was a spitfire.
She couldn't cook at all. Like literally, I don't think I ever had a meal that my grandma cooked, which is probably very non-grandma-ish. But she taught me all kinds of other things, so.
The quintessential eccentric businessman. Very bold ideas, very visionary, really eccentric in the way he dressed.
My grandpa was a little eccentric. And so if you went in Grandpa's closet, he might have, you know, those Cuban shirts? He would have probably 100 of them in just 3 colors.
He's literally colorblind, so it didn't help any.
You would rarely see one without the other.
Mom was very quiet, but very insightful, and Dad was a alpha personality, very outgoing.
If she felt strongly about something, you knew how she felt.
My dad's sister introduced Mom to Dad, and it was just before the war.
When Jack proposed to her, he sold his car to buy her engagement ring.
He got drafted in World War II, and I think he had a 3 or 4 day furlough. He came home and got married.
Jim and I fought all the time, and she said, next time you fight, your dad's out of town, I'm gonna call the police. A week later, we're out in the yard fighting, she called the police. And we were embarrassed when they showed up. Mom won.
I think a lot of who she became anyway was a result of probably having to be challenged with having a son with severe mental illness in a time when people didn't really know what it was. There's a stigma still today, but I can't even imagine what the stigma was at that time, and not really knowing what to do about it, and there weren't services.
We lived in the country, and we had a lot of poor people, and at least once a week, Mom would give us, my brother and I, a bag of clothes or food to drop off. And Mom's philosophy was you didn't have to go to Africa or to help others, just look in your own neighborhood.
Supplied the school, which was country school, very poverty-stricken, with baseballs and bats and those sorts of things.
Growing up in the Great Depression era and running a business, when they were my age, they were trying to make ends meet. I don't think they had a lot of excuses in their mind as to why you can't contribute.
They were loving people, and if they could help, they would.
Probably the kindest, most giving people you would ever meet.
The order was taken by Maddie Krakava. Her grandmother, Ethel Keller, is the one who bought the cookies for the veterans.
Could be a better lesson for a child than to think of somebody else. And who should be thought of better than the veteran?
The foundation was started by my dad, gave my mom a birthday present for her 70th birthday. He surprised her.
The mission is needs-based. People and organizations that typically would fall through the cracks.
Back in '91, we didn't have a clue, but we thought there was United Way, Boys and Girl Scouts, Rawhide, a few things like that. But we just jumped in, and eventually now we're supporting over 500 nonprofits.
You know, a lot of people think it's because of the name, the JJ Keller Foundation, that it is funded from corporate profits, and it's not at all. It's a family foundation funded by their estate when they died. Other than a couple things, his entire estate went to the foundation when he died, to the tune of something like $80 million.
She really spent a lot of time and energy into putting it in the best places that could serve the most people in the best way possible. And I really think that that's kind of how the whole thing snowballed and just became this great, I don't know, entity in itself.
So they started off just doing it, boots on the ground. My mom would make calls, and she'd find where there was needs, and they'd write some checks.
We're sitting there across the table from the folks at Children's Hospital, and my grandma basically put him on the spot and said, you know, we have a crisis here with mental health for kids, and you know, obviously she had personal interest in this, and she said, you're the experts in kids, what are you going to do about it? And so that was really the genesis of what was to come of what is now Catalpa.
It's had an impact way beyond what we ever would have anticipated.
We were out at Waverly Beach, and I went up to get a soda at the bar, and I had the JJ Keller shirt on. And the lady said, "Mr. Keller, you saved my life." And I said, "What? How did I save your life?" She was serious. She said, "If it wasn't for Harbor House and taking care of battered women," she said, "he'd have killed me." And she repeated that twice. She said, "He would have killed me, there's no doubt, if I didn't have a place to go." And then I ended up at Ethel's wing, Ethel Keller's wing. So she said, "As far as I'm concerned, your mom, your family saved my life."
I think if somebody asked them today, what do you think about the foundation? I think they would be just thrilled that it's still going as strong as it was, when they got to see it.
Started off with a few $1,000s. And now, 25 years later, we've given away over $50 million.
It's implicit that we're recognizing the wishes of Mom and Dad.
I think she just really opened our eyes to how much our community here needed the help.
Making money is maybe fun and gives you joy, but the real testament and the real meaning comes when you decide what you're going to do with it.
At the end of the day, their legacy was giving it away as carefully as how they made it, and to do more good than harm at the end of the day. And that, I think, is a pretty simple but profound way to think about things.
Both of them got an award, Philanthropist of the Year, years ago. And there was a big banquet, and Dad usually did the talking, but Mom got up, and she shocked everybody. I mean, it was like people were used to listening to Dad talk, but not Mom. 5'1½", in her 70s. She got up and she told the audience that you don't have to have money to give back. She said, everybody's got time here. And she said, there's a Calcutta, quoting Mother Teresa, in everybody's backyard.
There's a Calcutta in your own backyard.
So find your Calcutta and help those people. And if you don't have money, help them with your time and your talents.
There's a Calcutta in your backyard. You just have to look for it.